Welcome back to episode 3. Oh my goodness, last episode had 7,000 to 8,000 views within just the first day. That is amazing. Let's just keep it going. Thanks to everyone who has liked, commented, shared, and subscribed to the channel and is coming back for these updates on the apologetic world. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And if you would like to support, I have my PayPal and my Venmo linked below. Thank you. Now, we're going to start with Sheikh Uthman. Okay, so Sheikh Uthman was at Speaker's Corner and Arul asked him a really good question. He wanted contemporary evidence for Uthman, Abu Bakr, and Umar. And Sheikh Uthman pretty much does what he always does. Let's check it out.
Very historical person.
Who
Now the question, coming back to the question I asked, because that's my focus. You are a sheikh, not of the Bible, but of Islam. And therefore, I really like to be educated right now.
Excellent.
Uthman, Umar, Abu Bakr, is there?
Get the order right. Abu
Well,
Bakr,
I'm not.
Umar, Uthman,
I'm not.
Ali.
For those who do not exist, who did not exist, order doesn't matter.
Okay.
They are
So
only a
according
figment
to-
of imagination.
Let me ask you
please,
something.
please,
Hold
let
on.
me
King
finish
David-
my
no,
question.
you
Let me
get-
finish my
go ahead.
question. Do you have or don't you? Please agree to the people who are watching you. Do you or don't you have contemporary? I'm not talking about things written 200 years later,
What do you
300
mean
years
by
later.
contemporary?
What does the word contemporary mean?
You don't understand what contemporary.
Well, I know, I understand the word contemporary. Don't worry. You
you
gave me a
saying-
lecture on technology before.
Thank
I'm
you.
a computer science engineer,
Oh, wow.
consultant, being paid a lot of money for what I do.
I
So
doubt
don't
it,
teach me.
to be honest with you.
Well.
And if you are, and if
Okay,
your boss is watching,
okay.
they need to fire you.
Well, thank
because
you
you
very
don't
much.
know.
Sheikh,
If you're saying
I'd like to know if you
contemporary-
know Islam. I'd like to know if you know
look,
Islam.
look,
Is there
look.
any contemporary evidence for Abu Bakr,
Again,
Umar,
by contemporary,
Uthman?
do you mean
You care
historical
about the
records?
order, please.
Hold on. You're okay. Now, if you mean contemporary, like a person today in our time
No,
period,
contemporary to them.
yeah, of course, there are hadith records where the
The
people saw
hadiths
them
were written. When were the hadiths written?
during the lifetime of the Prophet.
During the lifetime of the.
Ignorant?
So who is the
You don't
hadith
even
writer?
know?
Excuse me,
Go ahead,
please
go ahead.
name one hadith.
You got 5 minutes. Go
Please,
ahead.
please name the writer of hadiths who lived during the time of Abu Bakr.
Ali bin Abi Talib.
Who
is
wrote?
he? Who wrote hadith?
Who wrote down?
You don't even know that.
Oh, laughing is good.
Well,
Where do you have what book?
when-
What
I
book?
got you.
What book is
I
the
got
extant?
In
What
the
book?
Musnad
What
of
book?
Imam Ahmad,
Who-
there is the
what book?
hadith.
Oh, no. Excuse me,
Close
excuse
your
me.
mouth,
So who wrote
open
that
your
book?
ears.
Who wrote that book?
I'll let you finish first.
Who wrote that book?
I'll let you finish.
No, I'd
speaking.
like to know who wrote
Okay,
that
then
book.
let me speak. Don't interrupt.
Who wrote that book?
Are you gonna let
Yeah,
me
go
speak?
on, please.
Okay.
Yeah, who wrote that book?
In the Musnad of Imam Ahmad, they have records where they said about the writing down of hadith by Ali bin Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu.
There we go. Did you listen to him carefully?
So Ali bin
There-
Abi
there-
Talib
did you listen to him
radiyallahu
carefully?
anhu
Did you listen to
wrote
him
down
carefully?
hadith
He is not
during
talking
the
about.
lifetime of the Prophet.
He is not talking about a book which he can produce, which was written down,
Muslim Imam Ahmad,
which
you
you have
can't
access.
produce.
Which book was written down during the time of Uthman?
Look,
Next, we have David Wood. I didn't know he was going to do another video, but he did. He did another video. This one is 20 minutes long about Andrew Tate. So we're going to check out a little bit of it, and you guys can find the full video on his channel. Let's check it out.
So, why did a webcam pimp and professor at Hustlers University convert to Islam? Well, he tells us in his interview with part-time stripper Mohammed Hijab. On a side note, since Hijab likes stripping so much, maybe the tater can get him a webcam job. Looks like we found the Cardi B of Muslim dawagandists. But let's hear from the tater.
Well, I think a lot of people who've been following me for a while understand that I've been very respectful of Islam for a long time.
Yeah, sure.
I was born in a Christian country. I was raised as a Christian, and I've always been very respectful of Islam. And it's become more and more obvious to me and more pertinent that Islam is the last religion on the planet.
Islam is the last religion on the planet. There are nearly 8 billion people in the world, but only one religion remains, according to world-renowned sociologist Andrew Tate. Remember when I said that you can give any reason, no matter how ridiculous, for converting and the Muslim community will believe you? Announcing that you converted because Islam is the only religion left is Exhibit A. Saying that Christianity doesn't exist, that Judaism doesn't exist, that Hinduism doesn't exist is so utterly moronic that there's only one place in the world you could get away with saying it. And that's in an interview with someone like part-time stripper and future webcam boy, Mohammed Hijab.
All right, now let's take it over to Sira International. I mean, this guy is spitting out some really good content, especially the ones with Jay Smith. So they have a video up right now, and they're trying to figure out if Mecca even existed. So once again, Jay Smith has done some incredible work. Let's check that out.
Are hugely important. Why? Well, the conclusion is, if Mecca is at the time of Adam and Eve, whatever that time period is, but that's in chapter 7, verse 24. If Mecca were where Abraham lived and destroyed the idols in chapter 21, verse 51 to 51 to 71 in the Quran, and if Mecca it was at the center of trade, north, south, east, and west, then someone, somewhere, should have said something about it.
Absolutely.
There should be some documents to
Absolutely. I mean, if it is such a big deal. I mean, like Rome, for instance, take Rome as an example. Alexandria is another example. Jerusalem, all of those. Damascus, by the way, is a big deal. It's always been mentioned, even biblically speaking. I mean, these names are mentioned, at least Jerusalem and Damascus, and so on and so forth.
So I would expect, I mean, listen, talking to Muslims, is it too difficult to demand that if this is a city that has existed since the beginning of mankind, this is a city that existed since 1900 BC, this is a city that was at the center of trade, north, south, east, and west, shouldn't someone have known about it? Shouldn't there be some reference to it? I would hope so, and I would hope you would think so too.
All right, we're not going to go anywhere just yet. We're going to stay here at Sira International because he has another series. And in this one, he's dissecting Sharia law. Now, he brought this guy Lloyd up, and he's been talking about how his life has been and what he's been going through since he's been dissecting the Sharia law and looking more into it in detail. Let's check it out.
To the subject of Islamic terrorism, they refused to discuss Islamic terrorism. We could talk about Buddhist terrorists, Christian terrorists. They were willing to delve into depth and critique and so on. But when it got to Islam, and ISIS was very, very active at that time, it was like, oh, well, yes, ISIS, not real Muslims. Look, there's a squirrel. Okay, guys, let's move on to Buddhism now. And I found this very, very strange. The rector, the dean of the academy, refused to engage in discussion with the Muslim Brotherhood. At the time, I was working closely with multiple governments across the Middle East, and the Muslim Brotherhood was definitely an issue, and he refused to see them as anything other than benign. Also, there were people in the course that had no attachment to the field. Like, one was a housewife, one was a retired accountant, another was a geography student who was 19, and they were policing the chat, and they would complain bitterly the moment anything was said about Islam. And the faculty was terrified of complaints. And eventually, what happened was the Bataclan in Paris. And after that atrocity, I started to look into the books that were being found and the libraries that were uncovered, that they were, because ISIS was very careful, as well as Al-Qaeda and other groups. They have indoctrination sessions. They teach not only the Quran and the Hadith, but they also teach the Sharia. And there were books that came out that I eventually learned about. I had access to these for the time. And I discovered various Sharia manuals. And these were then the orthodox understanding of Islam. And when I introduced this material into the discussion of the group, I was banned the next day.
Wow.
All right, now let's go over to Rob Christian's channel. Rob Christian just posted a very interesting video. I mean, the title of it is Allah Has a Dog. Let's check it out.
So I found a very strange yet a disastrous and disturbing explanation for this very ayah in Tafsir al-Tabari, which is of course considered to be one of the earliest commentaries for the Quran.
Is Tafsir Ibn Jarir al-Tabari. Tafsir al-Tabari. Imam Ibn Jarir is Imam al-Mufassirin. He's known as the Imam of all of those who did Tafsir of the Quran. And this, the ulama, they say, is the best Tafsir out there, no questions asked.
The commentary or Tafsir of al-Tabari mentions the following story and context behind this ayah. It is recorded or narrated from Qatada that Utbah bin Abi Lahab said, I disbelieved in the Lord of the Star, which is Allah. Then Muhammad the Prophet of Islam himself said, "Are you not afraid that the dog of Allah will eat you?" Wait, I have some important questions that need to be answered by our Muslim friends. Question number 1. So Allah has a dog and it eats people alive too? Are dogs considered not haram and evil in Islam? In Sunan Ibn Majah, hadith number 3210, for example, Muhammad himself explains that dogs are evil, especially a black dog, which is a devil according to your own prophet, Ya Muslimun.
All right, now we have the legend himself, Christian Prince. He's talking to a Muslim about the satanic verses. Let's see how this goes.
I asked you, did you see the tafsir of the Bible? You don't answer. When I say to you, did you see the tafsir of the Quran? You don't want to read it. Now, which tafsir you want to read? Tell me, and we will go there.
Ibn Kathir would be.
Ibn Kathir will be wonderful for you, no problem. We will go to Ibn Kathir. All right. Be my witness, guys. Hold on. Be my witness.
No, I'm not.
He choose Ibn Kathir. Are you serious? Are you sure that Ibn Kathir is the one you choose?
Go for it.
All right.
But I just wanted to clarify. You didn't really answer me on the John 4.
I answered you. This is not about that God he decided I was saying.
People understand.
Abdul, you cannot find one verse in the Bible say what you are saying. It's a lie. And in order to debate somebody about his religion, listen, Abdul. In order to understand the religion of somebody, you have to understand how they understand it and what they believe in it, not what you think. Not what it's appear to you. This is what I do with the Muslims. When I debate a Muslim, I don't give them my understanding of the Quran. I give them their understanding about the Quran. The same as we are doing now. You are talking about satanic verses. You say to me, okay, go to Ibn Kathir. So what about we go to Ibn Kathir, the Christian, and then we will see what it means. Abdul, listen.
I just want to say that the John 6:4, it's saying no one can come to me unless who?
Yes.
The Father can draw them. So no one can just pick.
No,
you understand?
My friend, no one except the chosen one. Who is the chosen one? Is the one who choose God. Those who choose God, God choose them.
That's not what
Jesus said. This is what Jesus said. He said, knock at my door and I will open for you. Call my name, I will be with you. This is what the chosen one, which means you call him, he answer you. You name me, I am there for you. You are a fool. You do not know what you are talking about. The Bible is not a phrase. You take it out of the book. You take all the book together so you can understand what Jesus is about. So when Jesus, he said, call me and I will answer. Pray for me, I will answer you. Name me, I will be every two. Mention my name, I will be between them. I will be the third. This is what Jesus said. So in order to be the chosen one, you have to call him, and that's all what you need to do. And then after you call him, you have to follow him. This is why it's not just saying to me, Lord, Lord, I will be your God, and you say to me, your God, 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 and then I will help you. No, not only everyone he says to me, God, God, but the one who do the will of my Father, which means you call me God, you worship me, and then you do the will which I taught you to do, and then and only then you will be saved. Not by repeating the same as the Abdul Muslim, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, but in the same time they are the most corrupt nation. Now we go to the Quran, chapter 22. Let us go and see. This is your Quran, and this is your choice, Ibn Kathir, my friend. All right. How Shaitan throws some falsehood into the word of the messenger. Do you see it? Do you see the title, my friend?
No, it's just my screen's like 10 seconds like behind.
All
so
right.
You need to give
I
me
will
time.
wait for you to see it. Tell me when you see it.
Yeah, it's on the screen now. Yeah.
All right. Does it say how Shaitan throws some falsehood into the words of the messenger? Does it say that? And how Allah abolish it?
Right. Yeah,
okay.
I see it.
So Shaitan, Ibn Kathir, he confirmed that Shaitan, he threw falsehood and words in the mouth of Muhammad, and Allah abolish it. What do you say?
Well, what do you want me to say? What's this in contrast to?
The challenge is how the Quran said that you have no authority over my followers except those who follow thee. So when I say Shaitan have no authority over you unless you follow Shaitan, that means Shaitan, he cannot have authority over Muhammad to throw words in his mouth.
Well, I don't know how to answer that, so I need to come back.
What do you mean you have to come back? Stay with me, my friend. You are the one who asked me to open Ibn Kathir. Why we open Ibn Kathir then? What, are you going to call a friend? Call him now. Call your scholar. Let him join us. How Shaitan he threw in the
I think
mouth
he's
of
got better
Muhammad.
things to do, you know.
Abdul, what things do you have things to do? What do you have things to do? You called me a second ago, you were excited. A second ago, you were excited. You want to eat me alive, and you thought you have something, and then you turn to be a balloon having only gas, and now you want to run away. Here we go. This is Ibn Kathir, the book you choose for me. It says
I'm not running
that
away.
Shaitan,
I'm not running away.
admit before you go, at least say Shaitan. Yes, Shaitan, he throw falsehood in the mouth of Muhammad. Say it. Say
and
it.
then Allah apologized.
Be a man. Thank you. So guys, this guy, he agree that Shaitan, he threw words in the mouth of Muhammad, and then Allah apologized. Thank you very much.
And we're going to end today's segment with a guy who was on the plane and he decided to get up and let everybody know that Jesus loves them. The video is only about 1 minute and 20 seconds long, but I still cut it because I want you guys to go and find the full video to see how it ended as well. But in the midst of his preaching, obviously the demons come out and someone says something to him. You might need to raise the audio up a little bit to hear it. I had to play it a few times to actually hear it, but when you hear it, you'll see exactly what's actually being said. Subtitles are also there because the guy is speaking in Spanish, but other than that, let's check it out.
Estados Unidos, yo soy predicador y yo amo a Jesucristo y Jesús amo a todos, bendiciones. Dios me envió aquí a tu país para predicar el evangelio de Jesús, bendiciones. Y recuerdes que somos nada sin Dios. Gloria a Dios. Y Jesús dice, cree en mí, pero la creencia en Jesús es el primer paso a salvación, no es el final. Necesitamos arrepentir de todos nuestros pecados y obedecerlo constantemente. Por favor, obedece a Jesús, lea la Biblia y cree en su palabra día por día y tú tendrás bendiciones y tú verás la gloria de Dios en tu vida. Y si tú nunca aceptaste a Cristo, repita después de mí en tu corazón realmente si tú quieres ir al cielo, no infierno, porque es triste que la mayoría dice, Señor, solo 30 segundos más, perdón. Es para la salvación de todos, por favor.
All right. Thank you for joining in on yet another episode. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.